Joining us today on our session about simplifying software procurement and management with Azure Marketplace. I'm Jake Zabrowski, General Manager for our Commercial Marketplace, and today I'm joined by Shai Sand and Marlon Evans from our team. We're excited to be here and share about what we've been working on, including some exciting new announcements later in the session. Today we're going to spend time talking about the customer experience with the Marketplace, and as the session title points out, how we're working to simplify software procurement and management. Before we get into the details, I'd like to spend just a little bit of time talking about why we're investing in the Marketplace. I've been at Microsoft for quite some time, and I've been part of this amazing journey and transformation that the company's gone through in how we build technology and how we engage with our customers and partners in selling technology, and also how we use the software ourselves. And in my job, I get an opportunity to meet with a lot of customers, and there's one trend that comes up time and time again, a consistent theme, that it's getting more and more complex developing, managing, and maintaining kind of the IT estate. And that tends to get more complex over time. I mean, recently we've all experienced with the COVID-19 pandemic, like the rapid amount of change that we all had to adjust to in terms of shifting our IT infrastructure to really being flexible and allowing for remote work and new scenarios that we hadn't anticipated before. And so with that, the conversation with our customers often evolves into, how can Microsoft help us reduce some of that complexity? And it really comes in a couple different forms. One, how can Microsoft help us engage with our critical software suppliers to ensure that their technologies run on your platform when we've made a choice to run our technologies on Azure or M365 or Dynamics? And also, how can you help us reduce the cost of integration and bringing those products on board and reducing the amount of time from deciding I want to shift a workload or the time I want to integrate a new workload and get that into my IT environment? Next, we hear a lot of questions around just easing the operational burden of procuring and vetting and managing those solutions. And a larger and larger number of customers have come to us asking, like, how do you actually help me gain efficiencies in my procurement system and my vendor management program because of the explosion of new technologies and innovation that's happening and making that way more complex as well. As we know, procuring software is always a tricky process, and it always comes with this balance between providing agility for the business and our IT teams and developing their projects with maintaining governance and control and security to protect our corporate assets. And so, hopefully what we can do is find a way to be able to equalize that equation and make you able to achieve both. And that's where Azure Marketplace comes in. We started our investment, a number of years ago, and over the past 18 months, we've been focusing really deeply on kind of the customer experience and what we can do to really bring some more advanced, and simplified paradigms at play in terms of how you find, identify, vet, validate, and integrate new technologies into your corporate IT environment. And there are 4 areas that I'm going to drill into a little bit more today. The first is around agility. How can we help you adopt new technologies? And also, how can we support you in your migration from your existing IT infrastructure to the cloud? And specifically into your existing development projects. The second area is around efficiency. So within the procurement process, how do we help you take advantage of some efficiencies you can gain by working with Microsoft in your existing commercial relationship? The next is trust. In keeping with Microsoft's promise about building a high trust cloud, through our marketplace, there's multiple things that we can do to actually help you determine whether a product actually fits within your corporate security and compliance policies. And we'll talk a little bit about that. And lastly, but certainly not least, is around governance. And what can we do to make it easier for you to not only find and buy and deploy, but also manage those applications and ensure the right people have access while you still have controls and data to help manage that process. So let's dig in and talk specifically around agility. Today we have about 4 million unique people that are coming to our website and our marketplace experience every month looking for solutions. That's a huge shift in the way people look and find technology. And in our catalog, we have over 23,000 products and services available for you to filter through, and from about 10,000 software and services companies that work closely with Microsoft. It spans everything from developer tools and operating systems all the way through security and networking capabilities, as well as more business-oriented applications. Although I'm going to be speaking a lot about Azure Marketplace today, I do want to note that there's actually a companion sister site to Azure Marketplace, which is called AppSource, which is where we actually curate and manage the set of more line of business oriented applications as well, built on the same platform as Azure Marketplace. But today we're going to focus on the Azure side of the house. I'll say there's two things that a partner has to do when they onboard to our marketplace that are really intended to help our customers with this sense of agility. Number one, they get their product staged and ready to deploy. This is hitting at the pain point that our customers have around the process of integrating the technology into their environment. And so when a software company onboards to our marketplace, they're getting their product staged and ready to deploy using the same provisioning systems and tools that we use for our Microsoft technologies. So when a VM is published and in our repository, there's no faster way to deploy that VM than through the Azure Marketplace. The second is they integrate with our billing system and our commerce platform to make it available to purchase. And we'll talk more about that in just a little bit. So now I actually want to jump in and actually show you the marketplace quickly to give you a tour in terms of some of the capabilities that help with that level of agility. So this is the Azure Marketplace at azuremarketplace.microsoft.com. And when you first land on the site, you'll see we have a set of featured applications and consulting services. Today we have both software applications as well as consulting services available for you to sort through and choose from. We also have this thing called Hire an Expert, and I want to show this one really quick. What Hire an Expert is a set of vetted and validated certified Azure experts that are available to you to extend your existing resources and team for a specific Azure project. If you're looking for a specific freelancer with a set of skills, this is a place where you can go to find those folks and either use one of the pre-canned projects that we have staged and ready to go, or create your own project looking for people with those certified Azure skills. Popping back over to the marketplace, I'm going to dig a little bit deeper into the software side of the house and click on Apps. When I click on Apps, now I get the full catalog of the software applications that are available to you and a set of categories on the left-hand side that I can start to filter and sort from if I'm looking for a specific area of technology. And when I click on a category like security as an example, I get a deeper detail of different subcategories so that I can start to filter and sort from. I also have a set of filters that I can use at the top of the screen as well. I can have filtered based upon what's available for a free trial, more of your traditional use it for a free period of time. Or I also have the option for test drives. And a test drive is really a sandbox environment for those more complicated solutions that require some level of setup that a typical free trial just doesn't lend itself well to. Second, I can filter based upon operating system or publisher, meaning either Microsoft or our partners. I can filter based upon pricing model. There are three primary. Bring your own license is a model where you can bring your existing agreement with a software provider, use a marketplace to deploy, and then continue to transact and invoice directly with that supplier. This really helps, especially in some of the migration scenarios where you may already have licensing for a product and are trying to bring it into Azure in addition to the existing on-prem implementation. And provided the software provider allows you to have that level of flexible licensing, you can actually just use that existing license right here in Azure Marketplace. And then free for those applications that are either open source and free or that have a free set of capabilities. And last but not least, pay as you go. These are the paid applications that are either paid for based upon consumption or seat or site-based model for both monthly and annual terms. And last but not least, product type with three different primary deployment models: as a virtual machine, a solution template based upon Azure Resource Manager templates, or as software as a service. And one caveat here, when it's a virtual machine or solution template, those are software applications that are deployed into your Azure environment. Software as a service is actually deployed into the software company's environment, but all the billing and management can still happen here. All right, drilling in, when you've selected an application, you can click on that application and get a bunch more information about the product itself. This is really intended to help you determine like fit for purpose and also give you more information that starts your process of validating whether this application is something that you were interested in, is the right application you're looking for, or something that you want to integrate into your IT environment. So you get an overview that's provided by the publisher of the solution and some additional information, including videos, case studies, as well as screenshots. You have the ability to dig into the different pricing or plan options that software companies made available, and also a set of reviews. Just like in the consumer space, where you can use ratings and reviews to determine, okay, I've heard about this product. Is this the right product? Are there any gotchas or things that I should understand about it, or things that I should know more about? Reviews are a great way of understanding more. I also see additional information on the left-hand side here, including things like access to their licensing agreement and privacy policy, information on product support. Now, in the marketplace, I can certainly start to engage with those products based upon filtering and sorting. I can also just search directly for what I'm looking for. So say, for an example, I'm kicking off a project and I want to deploy a Red Hat Linux VM. I can just search for either the product specifically or the software company, and then I can find the solution that I'm looking for and then click to get it now. I also have this little heart here for saved. That's a way for me to curate a list that I want to go back and review later for myself, so that I can see different applications I may be comparing or things I just want to save for later that I found in the marketplace. When I click Get It Now for an application, it allows me to choose the software plan that I'm looking for and also share a bunch of basic information with the software publisher. Now, this is a demo environment and it's not fully built out. We ask all of our software publishers to have a basic level integration with Azure Active Directory. So when I fill out this information, it may pre-populate with information from that directory. I can choose to change it, but this starts my engagement with the software provider so I can start to deploy and get ready to use that product. Now, if I fill this out and hit continue, that's going to pop me over into the Azure Portal to complete that deployment. Let me go over to the Azure Portal and show you kind of what that experience looks like. This is the Azure Portal, the management experience for all Azure services. Marketplace is really integrated into the Azure Portal. You may or may not realize it today, but when you hit create a resource in the Azure Portal, what you're actually seeing is the marketplace. I have the same set of categories, a set of popular and featured applications. I go to see all, and now I can see the full catalog, similar to what you saw on the website. Similar set of filters, similar set of categories, and then I can choose to manage my deployments directly from here. If you prefer, you can actually start your experience here. You don't actually have to go to the website, and you can have an end-to-end experience directly here within the Azure Portal. Well, that's a quick tour. I'm going to pop back over into our presentation and go over a few more details that I want to review as well. So specifically, I want to drill a little bit more into efficiency and governance. Efficiency, there's multiple things that we're doing to really help you gain efficiencies in terms of how you purchase and procure, and help reduce some of the complexity in the billing process itself. First off, when you're purchasing applications in the marketplace, you can add them directly into the invoice that you already have with Microsoft, whether that is an enterprise agreement or whether that's a credit card. We actually also, if you prefer to work with one of our reseller distributor partners, this is also supported through our cloud solution provider program, so our resellers have access to this catalog as well. If you're a customer that actually has a Azure consumption commitment with us, we launched a new benefit just a couple months ago that allows you to actually draw down that consumption commitment when purchasing a set of qualified applications in the Azure Marketplace. So when you go into the Azure Portal that we just walked through, you'll see a little new tag. You see it in purple at the top in the screenshot called Azure Benefit Eligible. When you see that tag, those applications are qualified, and you can actually not only reduce your Azure commitment based upon what you've consumed in Azure services, but you can actually reduce your commitment based upon the software costs for those qualified offers running on top of that. Now, in terms of efficiencies, we also have a few additional capabilities I want to highlight. We have both the ability to have customizations and standardization in terms of how you contract for these offers. First, on the point of standardization, we have what's called a standard contract. The standard contract is a set of terms and conditions that can apply to any piece of software in the marketplace. Our software partners can choose to make their product available under those terms. If they do, the benefit to you is that you can review those terms with your legal teams and determine whether they meet your specific requirements for legal terms and conditions. If they do, that's great, because now you've got a set of applications that are already using those same terms, and it reduces the complexity of contracting for those. We do actually allow you to tweak them. So if your legal team says, hey, I like them 95%, but there's this one thing. There's always that one thing. There's this one thing that I would prefer to change that's more in line with how we think about the terms and conditions. You actually can customize just a piece or two of, or a couple pieces of the standard terms to more be tailored to your specific company's needs. We do still offer completely custom terms. A software company can actually have their own unique terms and conditions as well, and you can negotiate, which is where the term private offers comes in, which is the screenshot at the bottom right. If you've negotiated with one of your suppliers and you have a completely unique set of terms, which could be a unique price, which could be a unique set of terms and conditions, they can actually extend those to you through the marketplace as well as a private offer. They make that offer available only to you based upon what you've negotiated, and you can then start to deploy and manage those under that custom agreement through our marketplace as well. All right, I'm going fast, but I'm going to shift over to the next area, which is governance. Last but certainly not least, this is an area that we've been spending more and more of our engineering resources on, and specifically wanted to make sure that you can use a lot of the native built tools in Azure to manage these applications, whether that's applying Azure policy to then make sure you're governing the different marketplace artifacts using those same policies that you use for Microsoft technologies. As an example, in the first screenshot on the top left is applying a restricting policy around how Azure Marketplace VMs are deployed. Secondarily is around things like cost management. So today you can actually use Azure Cost Management not only to track your spend for Azure applications, but also to track your spend for the third-party applications that you've purchased in Marketplace. This is an area around governance that we are investing more in, and inclusive of more RBAC roles. Today we have controls like you can't just add a product to an existing enterprise agreement or invoice without having a purchasing role, so know that it's not unfettered access. But one thing that I do want to talk through is actually something that I'm really excited about. It's a new capability we're just launching in market called the private Azure Marketplace. Now, we've taken a lot of these concepts around the importance of being able to manage and procure while providing agility to developers and IT together into a common feature set. And specifically, what this does is it allows you to curate and manage a custom view of that marketplace based upon the approved set of technologies and services that you want to make available to your developer and IT, so you can manage that list and then get out of the way and let your teams actually do their work. I want to bring online Shai, who actually helped develop this feature, to discuss a little bit more about how it works and to give you a quick tour. Shai, welcome.
Thank you, Jake, and thank you everyone for joining us today. I'm extremely excited to be here and introduce private Azure Marketplace.
So we've talked a lot about how Marketplace can help our customers simplify software procurement and management. Can you share a little bit about what we did and why we developed the private Azure Marketplace?
Yeah, so let's talk about our path developing private Azure Marketplace. When we looked into developing private Azure Marketplace, we wanted to make sure we take into account the voice of our customers. We heard that the customers want a way to prevent purchases of public offers. The customers wanted a way to allow simple integration of software that meets compliance requirement and allow supportable software while preventing compatibility issues and enable deployment of specific plan within the offer. We looked into building a tool that will give the IT administrator the power to implement the enterprise policies and govern which products will be available for deployment by the user. Private Azure Marketplace is a new tenant-level feature that is built on top of Azure Portal and can govern which Microsoft partner products will be available for deployment, and that's along with all the Microsoft products that will be automatically added to the private marketplace. As a feature on top of Marketplace service, the user will be able to enjoy all the known experiences provided within Azure Portal, both UI and API, with additional specific capabilities that are unique to Private Azure Marketplace. Private Azure Marketplace simplifies the complexity of governance, and let me show you how. To start, I'll take you back to accessing Azure Portal Marketplace service. Accessing the Marketplace service, we can now see a new blade on the top left, which is called Private Marketplace. As the first step, we will start with creating the Private Marketplace. Creating the specific tenant Private Marketplace is a one-time action, and in the future, all will be managed in the Manage Marketplace blade. Since Private Azure Marketplace is a feature designed to be managed by the IT administrator, we added a new role which is called Marketplace Admin. The role itself can be assigned to the user by the global admin, and all the instructions are located in the Learn More link. With the Marketplace Admin role assigned to me, we are now ready to create our first Private Azure Marketplace. Next steps, once we go into the Manage Marketplace, is to curate the list of approved items. At the moment, the Private Azure Marketplace is disabled, and we are starting with an empty list. Next, I will want to add items, and I will do so by clicking the Add Items. Clicking the Add Items button will lead me to a designated gallery with a very similar experience of the public gallery, where I can see all the available products from Azure Marketplace. Looking around the Add Items page, we will see familiar filters, categories on the left, the search box, and all the different offers and products that are available in the public gallery. First new feature that we notice is the blue Allowed badge. As I mentioned before, Private Azure Marketplace provides us with the capability to manage the deployment of all Microsoft partner offers. To that matter, all Microsoft products will be allowed by default, and it will be indicated in the blue, with the blue badge. Since Microsoft offers cannot be managed, the tile itself will be disabled in the Add Item page. Second feature is the new feature, which is the Show Items. Using the filter, I can focus on products that are allowed by the admin, products that are allowed by default, and other products which are not allowed. So now, earlier we spoke about the user experience and efficiency. And while designing Private Azure Marketplace, we wanted to make sure we addressed our users' need. Looking around the active tiles, we see two new features that are unique experience to Private Marketplace. One, we see a new drop-down menu. Using the drop-down menu, we can select a specific plan within the offer. We can select all current plans, and we can select all current and future plans. Second feature we added is the option to review the product detail page inside the Add Item page. First of all, I want us to go and select security within the categories. And since we already spoke about CloudGuard, I will show the demo using CloudGuard. So using the drop-down menu, we can see all the different plans, and I will go ahead and select the specific plans I want to add. Second of all, I'll go ahead and add a firewall from Palo Alto Networks. And in order to make it easy, I will go to my saved list, and I will add a few more items that I already pre-selected. Now that everything is ready to go, we can actually go ahead and click the Done. And at this point, we are back to the Manage Marketplace, and we can see the list we curated for the approved items. We can now update the plans, we can review the PDP, and reviewing the product detail page is being done by clicking the title, which brings us the product detail page into the Manage Marketplace blade. And at the end, if you want to delete anything, we can simply click and delete an item. Now that everything is ready, we should go ahead, and I will go ahead and I will enable the private marketplace. Enabling the private marketplace is being done by clicking Enable Private Marketplace. At this point, we have an enabled private Azure Marketplace for all the users in our tenant. Now that we completed with the admin slide, let's see how it looks from the user side. I will go ahead and go back to the Marketplace main page. And now that we have our private Azure Marketplace enabled, we can see a new banner, which states that our private marketplace is enabled. Furthermore, I can go ahead and I can scroll down to the security. And since we already added CloudGuard, we can see a new badge, which is the allowed badge, which indicates that the offer was allowed by the admin. So let's click and see what happens when I go into the offer. When I go into the offer, I can see the specific plans that I approved by the admin. So the plans that are allowed by the admin will enable the create button and will allow the user to deploy the offer. So all I presented here is already in public preview and can be accessed from the Azure Portal. I'm extremely excited about private Azure Marketplace, and I'm excited for all of you to go out there and try it for yourselves. Thank you so much for joining me. Back to you, Jake.
Thanks, Shai. I know that's really exciting to see this new capability come to market, and that's a really robust feature set for a first introduction. Really excited for what this will provide for our customers. Hey, I'd like to ask Marlon to join us now. I know we have a couple questions. We're short on time, but a couple quick questions and some resources for all of our attendees. Marlon, welcome.
Thank you, Jake, and thank you as well, Shai, for that demonstration. Before I get into some questions, I just want to call everyone's attention to a few resources that we have on the screen right here, starting with a new MS Learn module that'll recap a lot of the things that Jake and Shai were speaking to you about today. Also encourage you to join the tech community to keep the conversation going and communicate your feedback to our engineering teams, as well as some documentation on private marketplace, as well as an ability to join Marketplace Insiders program, which will give you early access to other new features that we're going to release for the commercial marketplace. And so with that, I'm just going to hop into two really quick questions for Jake and Shai. And so Shai, really quick, I noticed as you were previewing the private marketplace functionality, I did see preview, and you mentioned that this was in public preview. Is there anything that you expect to change between now and general announcement that'll happen in a couple months?
Thank you, Marlon. So our primary motivation for taking the public preview approach is that we want to continue and refine the experience based on feedback from our customers. We ran a private preview and worked closely with a few organizations in order to design this functionality, like the shared service, like the Canadian government team, who was quoted and told us about their experience. We learned that every organization has its own definition for compliance and governance. One may look into financial status of the publisher, one may have restrictions on country, one may want to support one version and not the latest version. There is no one size fits all. During the public preview, we want to continue these conversations and have that we already started and continue getting great suggestions throughout Microsoft Ignite. If you have ideas on feedbacks, please join us to the tech community where we have an Azure Marketplace forum, and you can see it in the AKA Marketplace discussion.
Thanks, Shai. And with that, I think we're out of time. Do want to, again, just call your attention to those resources. And I also want to let you know about some other sessions that we're going to be holding during Ignite. Please check us out. And if you have any questions, you can reach us through the tech community. And with that, thanks a bunch to Shai and Jake. I'm really excited about this private marketplace in particular. And again, we look forward to connecting with you throughout the rest of Ignite. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for joining.